G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here and welcome back to another slot car review, and today we're going all the way to France. That's right, baguettes, snails and slot cars. Today's slot car is very borderline die-cast car meets slot car. And again, it's a French company, a French slot car maker, and that is LEMANS Miniatures. Awesome slot car to review. It's Porsche, it's Martini, it's beautiful. So let's get stuck into it. Let's do a teardown, a review, and let's take this baby around the track. So welcome back to another review, and as always, thank you for everyone for watching. If you haven't caught up with Dave Kennedy's latest slot car news live stream, please jump on there. I have been talking to him offline a fair bit and he does touch on some really good topics, so please check out his latest live stream, which is viewable for anyone who missed it. And also I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. Once I get to 1,000 subs, then I can go live. I can live stream with other YouTubers and we can talk about some good topics. So unfortunately at the moment, because of my viewer base, I cannot go live, but we'll work on that together. So enough about the plug. Love what you're doing, Dave, as always, but let's get stuck into LEMANS Miniatures. Now, I did say in the intro, it is very model car slash slot car meets both worlds. And you can already tell straight away, if you're an auto art fan, if you're a high-end die-cast car collector fan, you do get some cars that are in a nice black sleeve or fully covered box. So let's remove the black sleeve. And straight away, we're into this lovely blue flip open design display case with this little tab. And again, a lot of die-cast cars, 1/18 scale models that are the high-end type do have this pull tab for when you're reviewing or revealing the car itself. So very nice box. Let's zoom around. There's our car that we're about to review, the 1974 Porsche Rsr Turbo, and the reference number's on there. Now I was going to tell you the reference number, but it is very long, so I might just throw that up in some text for you to see it. So there's the box itself around the back. Again, there's some details on the company itself, but let's open up this beautiful box and have a look what's inside. And I tell you what, you won't be disappointed. Look at that. So as always, I'll put this down on the slot car track and on my new beautiful mat by Slot Shop, and we'll get into a teardown and a full track run of this weapon. Alrighty, let's get stuck into this review, teardown and hot lap, and straight away the box appears to be sticking a tongue at me. I do think that looks quite unusual, but that's pretty cool. It's got the pull tab, it looks like a tongue coming out of the box. What is that for? Well, that helps remove the base, and I'll show you in a tick. But you also take note that a lot of high-end die-cast cars in the 1/18 scale do have this on their base as well. So it's, if you're a die-cast car collector, that'll be probably quite familiar when it comes to the pull tab. Open it up. We've already had a quick look at the car. Let's remove that quickly. We'll do a full tour in a sec, and let's pull that tab, which helps remove this bottom base. So before we go into looking at that, what else is in the box? Nothing. Just a beautiful LM logo, but there's nothing else in the box. No spares, no instructions. This is how I got it, brand new, so I'm guessing this is how they all come. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's the box. Let's have a look at the base, and straight away we'll put the car back on. Nice silver finish, bit of a textured finish, a little bit suave. And then up the front here we've got some text about what the car is, the model, when it ran, and who the driver and co-driver is. And then we've got the LM logo in this beautiful finished, I think it's plastic silver logo. Really cool. Now, let's take the car off the base quickly. Now, I've already removed it obviously, and there is 2 screws, and both screws are very long, quite long screws, and they've both got washers and also a black grommet that sits on the screw, and that holds the car off the display base. So do not lose those, because that helps sit the car up on the base nicely. So there we go. Let's remove that. Let's put this car on the track, and as always, the Rsr slot car track, beautiful piece of kit, and a massive thank you to Slot Shop again for giving me this custom-made NSR mat. Really excited. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. Now, enough about the thank yous, let's look at the car. And straight off the bat, what makes this company different from everyone else? Well, this is very much like a model car with a workable motor. So you can drive it. Would I say this is targeted for races? Definitely not. If I'm wrong, please hit it. If LM is watching, please hit the comments and say, Trav, yeah, we want people to race these. I don't think they would be a very good race car because they are of high detail and of high quality, and I don't think that's the purpose of this car. So it's a nice blend between collecting and racing, and I'm both. I love racing and I love collecting, but just have a general look around the car. The paint finish is extraordinary. The decal works beautiful, and of course, it's Martini livery, and I do love a Martini livery. Let's take a walk around the front. Now you've got this real delicate little red tow hook here. And again, that's why I'm thinking it might not be good for racing because you will lose that in the first crash. A very nice thin front splitter, beautiful front splitter. Now, before we go into, I'm not too sure if it's got working lights. I'm going to say no, but we will do a full teardown. But I do like how they've got the beautiful plastic covers. But what a beautiful front end. Looks incredible. Now, and while we look at my thumbs, those guards are pumped out to the max. But let's keep scrolling. Let's go to the driver's side first. Now the miniature in there, he is really well detailed. He's got the Martini livery style coloured, by the looks of it, fire suit, but a really nice looking miniature in there. Holding onto the steering wheel, beautiful job. Now while we're swinging around to the back, take a look at the size of that rear spoiler. Now I do have this in 118 from Auto Art, and this part in the model car is removable, which shows you the engine, the cooler, all the working parts. But that's cool how they got that massive, look at that. That is huge, it sticks out. I'm not gonna measure it, but that's a massive rear spoiler. And we've got a nice little revision mirror here, some little decals. Now, do we have active slots in the side? I think we do. I think those air holes on the side right there, I think that is active, meaning that there is a proper hole cut there. I can't see any plastic behind it. So I'm gonna say, yep, that definitely is an active cut, but we'll have a look when we take the chassis and shell apart. Let's go around to the back. This is where the magic happens. Take a look at that turbo. I'm a huge turbo fan, but let's see if we can get in a bit closer. Look at that. What a beautiful looking slot car, and their whole range of slot cars as of this quality, like a model car. So I do recommend them if you are a collector and you're not really racing these things. Please grab one of these, they're really beautiful. This does sit on my shelf, but we're gonna do a hot lap anyways. If I damage it, you know what, I damage it. Passenger side, there's a couple of differences here, but let's have a quick look at the rims first. I love that Dunlop insigniaed stickered tyre, that looks beautiful. Blacked out rims on the rear with that nice center cap that you can that's removable when you're in the pits. I don't think we can do that here, that's just the mold. On the front, I like how the 5 spokes are painted red with a bit of a silver touch to them, but what a beautiful looking slot car. Now let's look, the other difference is you've got a nice gaping air hole here, which will be cooling down and we'll see if we can get in a zoom on that. And again, I'll have a look and see if that's active, but nice little air induct, which is different to the driver's side. As you can see, it's not on the driver's side. So a beautiful looking slot car. Let's flip upside down. What have we got going on here? Now the back is where the action is. You can see a bit of the exhaust work underneath that turbo. So it's a really nice rear of the slot car. Everything else looks quite basic. You can see there's 4 screws at the front, so we'll do a quick teardown of it. Looks like that's a Scalextric, I'm gonna guess, but don't hold me to it. Scalextric sidewinder sitting there, but looks very standard underneath. But I do like that engine work. Look at the exhaust work, yummy. All right, let's do a teardown, let's get stuck into it, and let's have a look at what makes this thing go. Rightio, so I finally did the teardown. I will not lie, it was quite a task. It took a record 6 screws for this channel so far to get the chassis and shell apart, but in the process I have done a little bit of damage to the car, which I will try and fix, but I did press too hard on the shell itself when I was trying to get those screws out, and I pushed off one of these revision mirrors. I did try and put it back in, but this stem broke off, so I will fix that. And also, when removing the shell and the chassis, and I've now made the mistake, so please don't when it's your turn, the manifold, the extractors sit across like so on the rear, and unfortunately the way this is designed, the back of this car then has to go up and under those extractors. So I've unfortunately broken that off. I will glue it back on. It looks like there is a tab there to pull it in and out, but it being fragile, it has snapped off. So I don't think this is designed for racing, but again, that was partly my fault. But in the event of trying to review this thing, I've done some damage, and you know what, who cares, let's get stuck in the review. So before we look at the chassis, let's have a look underneath this thing, and it's unlike anything I've seen before. There's a nice little air compartment in there which is covered by this bit of plastic, and let's have a quick look at that. that drops in like so, and then the chassis sits on top on that, which is where then this extractors goes over the top, which is quite unique for a slot car, hence why I'm saying it again. This is more of a display piece than a race car. Quite a hefty sized cockpit. There is a lot of detail in there, and also something else that's a bit different. The front axles are attached to the underside of the car itself, not to the actual chassis. So there you go, a little bit different. And it looks like a different kind of plastic composite or something similar. I've never seen a slot car look like this inside. So if you know what they've used to make it, I couldn't find any info on it. Please hit up the comments. But quite a, is it heavy? It looks heavy, but I don't think it is. I haven't got scales, but that's the inside of this chassis. So again, I don't think it's race ready. Now, sorry, inside of the shell. Let's have a look at the chassis. Now we're minus the front axles because that's attached to the front of this car. Now there is not much here. I'm going to say that again. I do not think this is race ready. This is more of a display piece. It appears to be running a Scalextric-ish style motor. I'm not going to say that is a Scalextric motor because I don't know. It's not stamped with any branding or any RPM or voltage, so I don't know what that runs. Rear wheel drive, very basic rear wheel drive to the left hand side. Can you change that over? You probably could spin the motor if you want to go left or right, depending on what track you're setting up for. But that is honestly about it. Decent gauge wire goes. You got these press-in style negative and positives, which slip into their little holders, and that is about it when it comes to the chassis. So again, there's not much action happening underneath. It is more of a display piece, which I think that's what they're going for. You know, a model car that you can drive. But unfortunately, and let's have a quick look underneath. Again, it did take 6 screws. It appears you can remove the engine compartment section of it. I don't know if they make anything else that can fit in there for, you know, race tune ready. I don't think so. But that is removable from those 4 screws. They do not assist in taking away the chassis and the shell. A little bit more detail work underneath there, which stays with the car itself. It looks like it's underneath the gearbox and the bottom of the engine. That's where the other 2 screws were located. So we had 2 here and we had 4 at the front to get this off. Again, a nice size guide. It's actually a decent size guide. And that is about it for this. So unfortunately, I did do a little bit of damage to the car. Yes, I will fix it, but you know what? I am going to do a hot lap. I've got some timing set up, so I'll see if we can get some timing happening on all the cars I'll review. So let's see what time this car does around my track. Will I damage it? Won't I damage it? Let's find out. So there you go. Unfortunately, I couldn't post a respectable lap time. I just could not get this car to stay on my track properly. And apologies for the camera angle. I am using new camera angles, so please hit the comments if you're liking it. If you're not liking it, I am trying to jerry up some kind of overview of the track so you can see everything. So unfortunately, I got into the low 20 seconds on this car. A good lap around my track is between 8 and 12 seconds. It ranges between whatever model I'm using. This just couldn't do it. The main issue I had is trying to keep this chassis flat on the track, and it wanted to pop out, and every time I try to put power down, it does flex in the center. I did try and screw these screws in different depths to try and get it to level out, but for me, I could not set that up. I don't believe LEMANS Miniatures are selling this as a race car. This is one of the most beautiful looking slot cars I've ever held in my hand. They execute the detail very, very well. I do not think they're trying to sell this as a race car. So there is definitely a market for this. I think if you want a beautiful looking slot car, go grab one, but don't expect it to be a weapon around your track. If you have set one of these up properly and I'm doing something wrong, hit the comments and tell me, because I'm not a professional. I am pretty good at setting up cars, but I could not get this thing to stick on my track. So as always, thanks for watching at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram and YouTube. Please support the channel. I am trying to get to 1,000 subs. That's when YouTube allows me to go live, and there's a couple of people I would love to stream with in the future about slot cars. So please share the word, get on board. Thanks for watching as always. Take care. Ciao.